Brian. All right, hey everybody, welcome to Off the Bench. I am your host, Mark Wiggins, Off the Bench Live magazine, the feature edition where we talk to people from the magazine and people who are doing stuff in the magazine. Tonight we have with us one of our authors. He's a featured author. He was actually with us. If you saw King's Conversation last month, he was on one of the panelists on our first group discussion. We were talking about a lot of different topics, and brother has a lot to say and a lot to offer. So he will be on tonight, brother Anthony McAllister. He has a great book called Fathers Matter, and he will discuss his anthology book and some more things about that. But first, before we get going, we got some housekeeping things to take care of. First off, as you all know from last episode, we are sponsored by Black Starlight cigars, and they are a great sponsor of us as well. We have they got cigars. We did a feature of them last week as well. Last week. So you want to check them out. Also, I just probably saw a post this morning about sports psychologist with Dr. Coffee. Dr. Coffee she's been a day one with the magazine, and she is a sports psychologist, mental games coach, mental mindset coach. And her thing is helping young athletes and all athletes get the mindset right and help them to perform at a higher level. She and I have partnered in allowing us to promote and push her out there in her services to my market. I deal with a lot of people with kids and playing in sports. I'm tied to a couple of organizations. And so this opportunity for us to allow our children to get some professional help from a high-level top athlete. Sister is about 4'2", but she squats like 650 pounds. I don't know. I'm sure she's going to check me on that. But anyway, definitely hit me up on the inbox. I get the information to you. You can all set up a session with her. It's Dr. Coffee. She is doing her thing. Last piece, the holiday gift guide is coming. I put a post up about it. We got a couple people getting in the magazine for the holiday gift guide. The holiday gift guide is for anyone who has a business or a service and you want to promote and advertise in the fourth quarter. Starting in October, mid-October, we're going to release the magazine. It's going to be a free magazine. We'll be sending it everywhere. If you have a business, if you're selling weave, not weed, we can get a magazine. If you got cookies and baskets and things, y'all know I used to be the cookie man. This will be something that I would get into to promote my business for the holiday season. If you, what else can you do? Any type of business you're selling wine, Kendra, Dion. If you got a lot of stuff that you do business-wise, the holiday gift guide is what you want to get into. You've seen the magazine, you see how it lays out. It's going to be high quality and a great tool that you can use. The bonus is, depending on the package that you buy, you can get in or you can be in. Let me run that back. I don't think y'all heard me. You can get in the magazine or you can be in the magazine. I think for $75, you can get in the magazine, put you with a half-page ad with links to your website. But if you want to be in the magazine for $100, you will get a full-page ad, all the links, and we're going to do 2 live shopping shows, one in November and one in December, where you come on, kind of like QVC. You get a couple of minutes to talk about your product. I'm going to give you a hot interview. Remember, if you don't know how to tell your story so you can sell your story, this is a great time to figure that out, because your story is your product, service, or your platform, so people get to know, like, and trust you. This is what we're doing. I'm using all of my skill set, my backgrounds, retail and training, and to putting it into this magazine to help people promote their business. We got candle makers. We have Bath and Body is hot right now. All the butters, 7 Day for Sweet Tea. She should be in the magazine. She's a day oneer. I think she's coming. So a lot of great people coming in the magazine, and you all can make sure that this goes well. All right. That being said, let's get to business. Let me bring in Brother McAllister. How are you today, sir? Uh-oh. You're going to be well if I don't unmute you.
Yeah, doing good, my brother. Yep, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on your show, bro.
Man, it's good to have you back again, Mr. McAllister. Why don't you, again, I don't do bios. Why don't you go ahead and break down who you are, what you're about, what your project and your anthology is about?
Okay, well, real quick, my name is Anthony McAllister, and by trade, I'm a 30-year juvenile probation parole officer serving the city of Alexandria. So I've given Alexandria 30 years of my time, and at this point, I am an author. I wrote, and I have an anthology, and I have 17 co-authors. And the title of my book is called Fathers Matter. So this is the cover. The books arrived yesterday. So We've been doing pre-sales for about a month, and the books are now in my hand. So anyone that's interested in the books, you can purchase those, and we'll share that information as we go forward. And I'll give a little backdrop on me. 2017, my wife and I had two daughters. My youngest daughter came home from college. Both my daughters were at St. Augustine's University. They came home from college on spring break, just like any other kid would do. My youngest daughter was killed by a stray bullet. She was shot and killed in DC, just hanging out with friends, doing nothing wrong. And she was a bright and shining star. She was on her way in college, doing well. So my wife and I lost her to gun violence. And since that day, we've created a foundation in her honor. And the foundation is the Ayanna J. McAllister Legacy Foundation. And so with that foundation, we try to combat gun violence in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We do a lot of programs and services for the community, but the biggest thing that we do is we give youth scholarships each year going to college, and we bless about 5 youth with partial scholarships as they try to matriculate to the next level of education. So that's who I am. I'm sure more will come out as you continue to interview me and ask questions, but I'll stop for now.
No, all right. Yeah, I normally don't do this, but I'm allow you to give a shout out to your illustrious fraternity. So go ahead and get that out the way.
Do I have to get it out the way now? Because you know it's going to come up time and time again. But right now, I'm going to get the blessing of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a proud 35-year member of that fraternity. And you know, as we get older, Mark, fraternities, rather who fraternity you're in, we all come together for the betterment of brothers. And so
absolutely. Yeah, I just love giving the cues mess, as we often do in love and in jest. Now, back in college, we meant that joint. Now it's just because we old. So
it's different now, but back in the day, it was a thing to do.
Absolutely. Make sure you definitely you shout them out as much as you absolutely need to, good brother. I appreciate you and respect the brothers who make Psi Phi. So you do all that as well. So let's talk about the anthology book. How did it come about, and where did you get your authors from?
Okay, so this is currently like the second book that I'm a part of. My wife and I co-authored a book entitled Mind Over Matter. With my wife being a mental health therapist, she sought out folks who had mental health disorders. And so she allowed them to become co-authors in her anthology. And so we did that book together. That book was released about 3 or 4 months ago. But the impetus of this book entitled Fathers Matter, my wife inspired me to do this as well, but there were so many times that people would come up to the both of us after losing a baby, and they would often say to me, not with me, how is your wife doing? And I often felt a little some way about that, because it's always, how's your wife doing? And I realize and understand that a woman birthed the child, so there is that innate relationship. But as a father, we kind of hurt in our own lose a child. And so with that, I often felt that men didn't have a platform. When a brother makes it in the NFL or NBA, they get the camera, they say, hey, mom, and dad is kind of an afterthought. So what I thought was that creating this opportunity for brothers to talk a little bit about themselves, it would give fathers a platform separate and apart from moms, and really give us an opportunity to talk positive about the Black male. Because a lot of times in the media, we don't get the just due. And so with this anthology, you've got 17 brothers talking about fatherhood, and they're talking about it on their own terms. You got one brother who's talking about praying with his kids. You got one brother talking about just rearing his kids without the corporal punishment. And then you have a brother like myself who's talking about being a present father, doing everything you're supposed to do, still losing a child and still having to raise another child and be the father for your family. So I solicited several brothers that are in my circle, and I allowed them to be co-authors. I really put it out to probably about 30 brothers. I ended up with 17 men who said yes. And I guarantee you that they're going to be better and blessed because they said yes. They have some phenomenal stories. We're going to have a book launch coming up, and I'll share that with you as well. But that was the impetus of me writing the anthology. And the folks that are my co-authors, they were pulled from my circle of friends. And so everybody that is in this anthology has a special place in my heart.
That is amazing, Anthony. I appreciate you stepping in the gap for the fathers. I often list myself as a male apologist because for what you just said, everybody overlooking dad, but they come to dad with their hands out. And that's part of the reason why I started King Conversations. And why we came out in June. My whole thing was, we don't get no respect on Father's Day. And there's a lot of great men, black, white, Asian, Puerto Rican, whatever, a lot of great men who are doing the thing, right? And we don't get the acknowledgement. And or more importantly, we don't assert to one another and acknowledge each other that we're doing a great job. So we need to do a better job in those arenas. And I appreciate you in this book because it's going to highlight a lot of good things about what men are doing all over the place. So, things that people are looking for, but sometimes you need to read it and then acknowledge it. And I hope that's what people get out of the book, is that there's some great men out here doing some great things.
Absolutely, my brother. And I truly salute you for creating this platform for men. And giving us a place to talk about things that are truly important to us.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I came out to your launch, that I guess your wife was doing something. Oh no, it was a premiere. She was on what's that show?
The Cartel. So my
The Cartel.
Wife, yeah, she's a therapist, and they had a episode of The Cartel that they shot in Washington D.C. and they were looking for a therapist to really engage in conversation with one of the stars of the show. And lo and behold, with all of the work that my wife does, she was blessed to be on that show. And so we did a watch party at the Tinderbox in Waldorf. Raj was blessed us with allowing us to go there. And I think you would agree with me that it was a tremendous successful event, a great opportunity for us to gather, talk about gun violence on pretty much the big stage. And so that was a great opportunity for us as a foundation.
It was a great outing, and it got me a chance to know and understand your hearts, both of y'all's hearts for what you're doing and your passion, and that was clearly evident by who showed up. Sister showed up to support your wife and you all, and you had your clique over in the corner, and all the brothers gathered around and talking and smoke cigars and just a bunch of great vibes. So I was blessed to be there. I was one of my first outings, trying to be out with the magazine to more places and support people in our magazine. You're in our magazine, I got to support and make sure the message gets out there. Thus, this platform and whatever else we got going on, you're always welcome. So that's what's up. So now you got the book, the book launching is officially coming October, I think you said, correct?
Yeah. Yep. October the 10th, we're going to have a book launch. That's going to be from 7 till 9 p.m. It's going to be virtual. With the current climate and COVID, we thought that it would be a safer opportunity to do something virtual. And it is kind of a closed event, but it's not closed. So anyone that's in your listening audience that's interested in being a part of our virtual event, they can email me at cfamac7@gmail.com. And what I'll do in turn is I'll email them a link so that they can register. And 2 or 3 days before the event, they'll get an email giving them the link so they can be a part of the virtual launch. They will then get an opportunity to hear from each and every one of the co-authors, who will give them a little bio of who they are and give you a little blurb about what their chapter entails. And so it promises to be a good event, and we're preparing for this now. And it's not going to be a boring event. It's going to be kind of a run a show type event, but it's going to really highlight what we're planning to do with this Fathers Matter project. It's something that we've been pushing for about a year. It's been in the incubator. And so now that we've released it, we're just ready to get it out and bless folk.
Absolutely. Definitely. For those out there watching, if you didn't catch that, you can inbox me and I'll connect you with Anthony and that email, and we'll put it on the Facebook timeline so people can follow and push. And this is a great book for everyone out there on the timeline who has a black male figure in your life. Father, husband, boyfriend, boo, work husband, side piece, I don't particularly care. They need to get this book because there's a message in here for everybody. I got to talk to Anthony about his thing and talk to some other authors in the book and hear their stories. And I won't tell them because I need them to come on and tell us, and that's going to happen. But Anthony, tell me like 1 or 2 things about what you wrote. Talk to us about what you wrote. What were some of your challenges and what was your overall message to Black men?
So the title of my chapter is Fatherhood: From Pleasure to Pain to Peace. And it really chronicles my life in general. I mean, I started out my life with being a mentor to young boys as a juvenile parole officer. You engage with young people, and I've been doing that for about 30 years. And so there have been young men that have come into my life 30 years ago, and now they are fathers, husbands, and they continue to be in my life. So I started out as a mentor, and then I started out as a proud father. I had two daughters, beautiful daughters, and my wife and I started them out in private school, did all of the right things that we should have done with our children, educated them, gave them all the opportunities to be successful. And lo and behold, they moved and went on to college. And so we were grateful and happy and excited until that fateful day that my daughter came home from college and was met with the fate of death, and we would never see her again. And so my chapter talks about that. It talks about having the Black man to understand that whatever you go through, counseling is something that you can really lean on. You know, we have in the Black community, especially the males, we've shied away from counseling and therapy. But I can tell you that this is something that I was met with that I couldn't face on my own. And so I chose to go into therapy, and it was a great opportunity. It gave me a platform and someone to talk to, and I was able to unleash anything that I would have gone out and unleashed in a different way. And so therapy, whether you're losing a girlfriend, whether you're losing a wife, a breakup of a marriage, failure in class, you know, if you need therapy or you need someone to talk to, please don't shy away from it. And that would be my message to all the Black men that may be listening to the show today.
Absolutely. That's a great message and great encouragement for it. And again, another reason why we connected, because of those vibes. Again, I appreciate you sharing your heart and your story and your testimony. I can't fathom the loss of a child, let alone my daughter. So I know you all have taken that pain and turned it into a blessing for others. So we continue to keep your organization lifted in prayer and support, and anything OTB can do to help support, you know, all you need to do is send a text and I'm in. So we just thank you for that.
Definitely appreciate it. So Mark, if I can share with you and the listening audience who we have in this anthology.
Go ahead.
So in the anthology, I have two pastors, I have one associate minister, and I have one brother who has been in prison for over 20 years. This brother still had to parent his children from prison, and we were able to bless him to be a co-author in this anthology. And then again, I have 13 other brothers they're handling fatherhood on their own terms. Here comes the shout out to Omega Psi Phi once again. The person who wrote the foreword in this anthology is our 39th Grand Basileus, Dr. Andrew Ray. Dr. Andrew Ray is a phenomenal person in his own right. And anyone that does not know Dr. Ray, Google him and look at what he talks about when it comes to men. He actually wrote the foreword in the anthology, and I allowed him to also write a chapter, and his chapter is entitled Male versus Man. Phenomenal from a brother who actually had the opportunity to sit at the feet of the founders of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So to all my frat brothers, it will do you good, and brothers who are not a part of Omega but are a part of the Divine Nine, to read this anthology, get some insight from Dr. Andrew Ray, who has, you know, sat at the feet of founders. Not many brothers have that distinct opportunity, but he did. And he consented to be a part of this anthology. When I shared my story with him, he threw up his hands and said, "Brother, whatever you need, I'm there." And so that was a big, big plus for us. And we truly appreciate him being a part of this.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, when you talk about the Divine Nine stuff, there's a whole another conversation that happens. You talk about your international presidents, bachelors, polemarchs, Polaris, whoever, you know what I'm saying? And if you get to meet one, talk to one, whatever, it's just like a whole different thing. It's a whole thing. I had a past Grand Polemarch in my car, and I had the chance to have my son with me, pick him up from the airport. I was nervous. I was like, I don't know what to talk. I'm asking questions. He was asking my son questions. I come to find out he was, you know, power attorney, like, you know, a lot of brothers are. And he was involved in some of the biggest cases in California, the voter PAC contributions from more companies. He was involved in all that. And Thurgood, he presented against Thurgood Marshall. And I almost said, wait, you did what? Just to have that in the room, you know what I'm saying? So I know that was like a high honor for you. I'm exactly excited for you on that one. That's high.
Yeah. And then the blessing is that, you know, when you get to talk to gentlemen of that magnitude, you find that they're just men like us.
Just men like us. Yep.
And then they start to sharing nuggets. You do yourself a favor if you become a student and you pick up on those nuggets. So Dr. Ray has been an inspiration for me. We actually did a show with my local graduate chapter, Gamma Pi chapter. I want to give them a shout out because they have supported me in everything that I've done in writing this anthology. They just released a newsletter and they did a nice spread on the anthology. They did a what they would call a virtual interview with me, and they posted that in the newsletter. And so I'm excited and just want to say thank you to Gamma Pi, the super chapter.
I'll allow that. I'll allow that.
Thank you, my brother.
But no, anyway, by faith, Brother McAllister, I know you are swamped busy. You got the book in. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your time and your story with us. Again, we will look to have a bunch of your authors on platforms so you can share. We can hear directly from them, help to elevate sales and exposure and raise consciousness to the movement of Black fatherhood and king stuff. You got to be about this king's business. What we do. We are the kings of our domains, and we've been called to do something important, and we need to get back to doing what we do. When I started with the issue in June, the title was, King, Get Your Crown. Okay. I like you recognize with, oh, girl, fix your crown, girl, fix your crown. And I was like, what? Don't the king got a crown? Where's his crown? What is the king's crown? And I recognized I don't need you to fix your crown first, bro. I need you to go get that joint. Go back to where you left it and go grab it and get this book.
You see that crown?
Yes, I told you. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mark, if I can share one other quick piece, anyone who's interested in purchasing the book, you can purchase it at anthonymcallister.com. You see my name here. Push it all together with a .com, and you can purchase this book. But it is phenomenal, Mark. I truly appreciate you having me on, my brother, and I'll yield back to you.
Man, I appreciate you so much. Anytime, Brother McAllister, you let me know what you need, and we got you. Y'all go out and get this book. Go to anthonymcallister.com and order the book now. Pre-order. It's coming out. It's going to be signed and whatever. He'll come deliver it to you, read a chapter to you, all that kind of good stuff. Whatever you need, he's going to do to push these books. Trust me. So definitely appreciate you, brother. All right, brother, I'm going to drop you off, and we will chat later.
Take care, my brother.
All right, everybody, that was Anthony McAllister. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shouts out to the line. Brian Leitner, what's up, the homie of the greatest basketball team in Maple Heights history, class of 1985. Shouts out, GC champions. What's up, Brian? Pedro, what up, Fred? What's going on? I see you out there. Cynthia Freeze. Hey, Cynthia, what's going on? Hope you're feeling better. That's all I can see right now. Some of my screen is blue. But anyway, for all those out there, thank you for tuning in. Again, I say make sure you subscribe to the magazine. Go to offthebenchmagazine.com and get your subscription. The October issue is coming. The gift guide is coming. And we got a couple of nice things as we wind down the year and get ready for 22. The gift giving guide, again, if you have a business, you're selling something at a discount, you're making crafts right now, you're sewing something right now, you're making candles, you're selling paparazzi jewelry, again, we have a space for you in the holiday gift giving guide. Hit me up on my inbox, and I will send you the information on that. The time is coming quick on those things. And I would recommend, get the larger package. Get on and do something different with your marketing. You've done it before. I mean, I'm amazed at how people will pay for a magazine or ad, and I've done it too, so not just you, but me. And that's all you get. You get whatever exposure they got. The hard copy is there, and you hoping and praying that someone will. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. But with OTB, because it's live, because you got links, because I'm gonna bring you on, because you're gonna talk about it, you get more exposure, and I get to hear from the owner. We rarely get to hear from people who are the owners and the founders and creators of businesses, which is cool. But when you start now and you got your hustle on, we need to hear from you. I need to hear your story. I need to know that you, during pandemic, decided to pull out the sewing machine after 40 years and you making masks and you can't keep up with everybody. That story right there makes me pay attention, right? That story right there makes me pay attention. Again, tell your story. If it's not with me, somebody, be sure you tell your story so you can sell your story. And your story is your product, service, or platform. That covers everybody. You're a speaker, you're a preacher, you're an author, a shoemaker, a car salesman. I don't particularly care. I need to know who you are so I can know, like, and trust you when I make my purchase, because that's what it's about. It's about relationship building. That's what we hear about OTB. Anyway, I'm done with that. And signing off, and more comments on here. Hey, Adrian. Hey, how did my nephew do over there? He looked about 6'8", 275 over there in that uniform football. Did he win? Did he win this weekend? Let me know in the chat. My nephew plays for, I think it's Kansas. Well, let me get that wrong. Please let me get that wrong. He plays for Kansas. That's about it. So as always, I'll leave you with this. If you can reach your dreams with the step ladder, then they're probably too low. I'm out.